Hello, and welcome to the latest in our RiskWire webinar series. Today we are decoding the UAD, understanding the Uniform Appraisal Dataset, and preparing for its implementation. You are in listen-only mode to be considerate to the presenters and to allow us to get through the slides in a timely fashion, also to cut down on any background noise. All webinar attendees will remain in listen-only mode. However, your participation is important. We encourage you to submit your questions as they arise throughout the webinar. As time permits, the panelists will address these questions following the remarks at the end of the webinar. You can submit your questions using the chat feature on your webinar toolbar. If you'd like to direct your question to a specific panelist, please identify that with your question. We remind everybody that the thoughts and comments expressed in this webinar are opinions and views of real estate and legal professionals, and nobody in this webinar speaks for or on behalf of any company, government entity, or regulatory agency. As for introductions, my name is David Rasmussen, and I am the SVP of Operations at Veros Real Estate Solutions. I will be moderating today's discussion. With me, I have Bill King. Bill brings over 30 years of appraisal experience and works with me as the Director of Evaluation Services here at Veros. Also joining us today is Peter Christensen. Peter is an attorney and is the General Counsel of LIA. LIA provides E&O insurance to more than 24,000 appraisers and also to appraisal firms and management companies. LIA's appraiser E&O program is endorsed by the Appraisal Institute. As we review today's agenda, we plan to address these areas from both an appraiser/valuation professional perspective, as well as a legal viewpoint. Both Bill and Peter will provide their views on what is UAD, why is UAD necessary, any prospective liability issues, and what we can expect in the future. Following their comments, we will get into the questions and answers. And as you can tell from the topic, there's much to be discussed and little time to do so. So we will be scratching the surface, and at the end we'll provide links to other sites which will provide additional information for your reference. But with that said, let's get started. So what is UAD? In order to address UAD, we need to provide a little background. UAD is part of the Uniform Mortgage Data Program, the UMDP. The UMDP was created by the FHFA, specifically Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and the purpose is to implement uniform appraisal and other loan delivery data standards. This preserves each GSE's ability to determine what data means to loan performance and loan quality. It's established for three key reasons: enable GSEs to capture consistent data, drive improved loan quality, and manage risk more effectively. Now, there's three components to the UMDP: the Uniform Loan Delivery Dataset, or the ULDD, the Uniform Collateral Data Portal, UCDP, and what we'll be discussing today is the Uniform Appraisal Dataset. The UAD addresses all fields required for a complete appraisal. It standardizes definitions and responses for a key subset of fields. It prescribes the format for numbers, currency, and dates, and it provides standardized ratings and definitions for property condition, quality, and improvements. Here's what we can expect in the months to come. The UCDP will go live in June. That's just 2 months from now. Following in September 1st, the UAD will be required. And then come December 1st, loans with application dates as of December and that ultimately will be delivered to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac must meet ULDD requirements. So we're in April today, and there's a lot to take place in the next few months in preparation for the UMDP. And again, getting into the specifics of the UAD. So why is UAD necessary? For this topic, we'll turn it over to Bill King.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. In taking a look at why UAD is necessary, as we look at what the practices have been up to this point, the GSEs never received appraisal data at the point of loan origination or when a loan was delivered to the GSE. They do expect the sellers of these loans, that is the lenders, to review the appraisals in accordance with the GSE guidelines. And when a lender delivers an appraisal to the GSE, they represent to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac that the appraisal complies with their guidelines. In the post-UAD environment, appraisal reports will be analyzed before loan purchase, that is, before the GSEs accept that loan. Passing the initial analysis will not relieve the lender of their responsibility to ensure that the appraisal has been conducted in compliance with GSE requirements. And the GSEs will monitor appraiser status and performance over time. There is a document that we will refer you to for your use at the end of the session, referred to as the Appendix D of the Uniform Appraisal Dataset. And this outlines the prescribed requirements for filling in an appraisal report in compliance with UAD. This will create a lot of efficiency, or it's intended to create a lot of efficiency and consistency, particularly in the area of appraisal review. And I believe that this will prove to be a big benefit for both appraisers and reviewers alike. In leading up to this, Fannie Mae conducted an analysis of over 1 million appraisal reports and found that in the area of property condition, almost 64% of those reports rated the subject as average. And there were, in this instance, they found 23 permutations on the term average. Over 81% of these appraisals rated the subject as either average or good, and only 5% had ratings of fair or poor. There was another sample of about 40,000 reports, and when you added up all the various permutations, there were over 1,100 unique entries for condition. And so clearly, the ability to assimilate that into a single point of meaning was very, very difficult. So, quality ratings in this same sample were also widely dispersed. Again, the prevalent description was average. Many used a building material such as brick or stucco as the entry for quality, and while that's maybe a component of a property, it doesn't describe the overall property quality. Many appraisers also used the term frame with additional descriptions like frame aluminum, frame vinyl, frame average, what have you. So again, there was a lot of disparity in how these fields were being completed. Again, the same findings were true for location, arguably one of the most important valuation considerations. You know, how often have we heard that the three most important things in real estate are location, location, and location? And when it came to trying to decipher location from appraisal reports, once again, the most frequently used description was average. And we don't know what average means in this context. Some of the other descriptions were suburban, urban, suburban average. My favorite one was street. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I think most properties in the United States are on a street somewhere. But these don't just provide any insight into how location impacts the marketability of the property. And the thing that we're looking for here is some description that indicates something about how location affects the marketability. All these permutations do nothing but confuse the issue.